All right, we're going to look at number 7 on the Skill 7 homework. I hope this helps. So we're being asked for the tangent of the inverse cos of negative rad 3 over 2. So we first want to understand what the question is that we're being asked. So we're being asked an inverse trig function, which means they're giving us the coordinates or the side lengths or the ratio of the sides, however you want to think about that, and our answer there should be an angle. Then after we find that angle, we're being asked to find the tangent of that angle. So I'm going to break it down kind of into two smaller problems. Can I find the angle, and then can I find the tangent of that angle? So first, to find the angle, since you're working with an inverse cosine function, remember we're only finding the principal angle, which means we're just looking at the restricted area. And for cosine, those are the angles from 0 to 180, or in radians from 0 to pi. So this is from 0 to pi. So I'm basically supposed to identify the angle from 0 to pi that I know has a cosine of negative rad 3 over 2. So in terms of cosine, in the first quadrant, they would have positive cosines. In the second quadrant, they would have negative cosines, which means I know the angle I'm looking for is not in the first quadrant. Then because the number they're giving me is negative rad 3 over 2, I recognize rad 3 over 2 and 1/2 as values that are used with either 30 or 60 degree angles. So if I was uncertain, I've kind of narrowed it down to two spots, either here, which is like a 60, or here, which is like a 30. The coordinates here would be a longer x with a shorter y, so that would be rad 3 over 2 1/2, whereas the coordinates here would be a shorter x with a longer y, should be 1/2 and then rad 3 over 2. We're looking for the angle that has a cosine of negative rad 3 over 2, so that matches with these coordinates here. That means I've selected this angle. That angle is a 30, meaning it's 30 degrees. Its reference angle is 30. It's 30 degrees away from the x-axis, which means it's like the 150 degree mark, or 5 pi over 6. So that's the number it would be from 0 to pi. So the answer to what angle this is 5 pi over 6. Then I'm going to try and find the tangent of that angle. Sorry for the interruption. So he's just getting some water. So now we're going to find the tangent. We're going to find the tangent of 5 pi over 6. So we've identified 5 pi over 6, and we already have the coordinates at that spot. It's negative rad 3 over 2 comma 1/2. And the way that we calculate the tangent, remember, is that we do the y coordinate divided by the x coordinate. So in this case, that would be 1/2 divided by negative rad 3 over 2. And you've either done enough of these by now to memorize it, or you work it out. So I get negative 1 over rad 3, but remember, we more commonly see that with a rational denominator. So if I rationalize the denominator, then I get negative rad 3 over 3. And then I'm just going to double check that that's what we had for you guys here. Yeah. So that was number 7 on that handout.